Let's start another new project or new class. I'm going to call this maybe binary numbers. I'm going to have a nested loop in it. Public static. So here we go. We'll call this convert from base 10, that's decimal, to binary, which is base 2. And the way it's actually done, let's take, for example, a decimal number like 10, and you want to convert that to binary. You take the 10 and you divide it by 2. Well, when you do that, your quotient is 5, but your remainder, remainder is 0. Then you take the 5 and you divide it by 2. And that's equal to 2 and a remainder of 1. Then you take the 2 and you divide it by 2. Oh. And that's equal to 1 and a remainder of 0. Then you take the 1 finally, because that's the last one, and you divide it by 2, and that's equal to 0 and remainder of 1. And once you reach that, once you reach a 0 right here, this column here, you're done with it. So 10 as a decimal value, so 10 in decimal here, 10 in decimal will be equal to, when you write that number, you can write from the bottom up. So it's 1, 0, 1, 0 in binary. So that's how you have to convert them. That's the logic. So what I'm interested in is the remainder of each one when I divide them. And the other thing, what I'm going to do is how are we going to take these numbers and add them? So let's think about that. So let's begin the program. And I've been using a lot of scanners, so let me go back and use JO option. JavaX .swing .jo option pan. So I'm going to ask for an integer number there. So int, I'm going to add a number. And I need 1 for the quotient and 1 for the remainder. I call them Q and R. And as you divide the number by 2, you're going to put it back into that place. So I'm going to lose it. So I'm going to define another one. I call it num2. And I'm sure there's other stuff I'm going to need. I can't think off the top of my head right now till I get to that. And I'm sure I'm going to use some counter there to repeat something. So let me put that counter equals, well, counter. int num. Oh, I don't mean that to be. Here we go. int num2, there's a comma missing here. Q, R, and C. Q is the quotient, R is the remainder, C may be my counter. And string, when I read a number, if I'm using the JO option pan, that's going to be a string. Num or string tnum, the text number. And that's equal to JO option and dot show input dialog. And just I got another idea in my head. I'm just thinking, should we ask the user, do you want to run the program? You know, so maybe I'll do that too. Let's see. Do you want to run the program? Just in case they change their mind. Do you want to run the program? Question mark. Maybe I'll also say to quit, I don't know, type 0 to quit. So if you type in 0, it's going to quit. It's not going to run the program. Oh, that should be, there we go. Type, oh, undo. I hate you working on a little, is there edit? Undo typing, edit, edit. There we go. Let me just stretch it there. Semicolon. And my double quotation here. It says, do you want to run the program? And in parentheses, maybe I'll put for them, type 0 to quit. So they'll know that. So let me define a dummy variable you'll call run the program. Do you want to run the program? So let me define another one called run here. And let's get that value and see what the value is equal to. That's not the number. That's yes, you want to run the program or not. Type 0 to quit. Any other number will let you continue. So run equals run equals. So let's read run. Integer, because we decide that's going to be an integer value. Dot parse, and that's parse int, capital I. And parse is tnum, whatever you put in that box there. Take that value that you put in the box, which is a string, and convert that to an integer value. And now we're going to tell the machine, because we asked them, do you want to run the program? So while what? While run now, did I use capital R or lowercase? While run is different than, does not equal to 0, that means you want to run the program. So if that's the case, what do you want to do? Curly bracket to begin, curly bracket to close it. So if you type in 0, it's going to kick me out. But if I don't type in 0, I'm stuck inside the loop. And I'll have an infinite loop right now because I'm not changing the value of run. So let's get and validate a number. We're going to get the number we need to convert from decimal to binary and validate that number. The way we treat negative numbers is completely different. We use the 2's complement just for the record there. So you really can't, and the number has to be positive or 0. the binary of 0 is 0, the binary of 1 is 1, but after that, the binary of 2 is 1, 0, and so forth. So here we go. Let's get invalidate. So I'm inside the loop. I'm going to put another loop. That's a nested loop now. So let's get a... I can use the tnum again because I'm done with it. I took the number out of it. I don't need it. Oh, lowercase num. I'll just copy this. What am I typing it for? Let's just copy this. Without the string, it's already defined as a string. I'll go this far. Copy. I'll just add to it, delete from it, whatever I need to do. So I'm going to tell them here, enter a non-negative number. It can't be negative. Can be 0, can be 1, but it can't be negative. Enter a non-negative number. You know what? Non-negative. A lot of people might not know that, what non-negative means, unless you're a math person. Enter a number greater than or equal to 0. Well, it can't be 0. You know, I said 0 to stop the program. So greater than 1. I know the binary of 0 is 0, so I'll skip that one. Greater than 1. I could have used type in 999 to quit, but I'll just leave the 0 as to quit. Enter a number greater than 1. Or equal to 1. The binary of 1 is 1. And here, we need to take that number. That's going to be num now. Did I use lowercase? Yeah. The number is going to be integer dot parse int. The number in tnum. Take that number again and convert that to a number. Oh, tnum. Text num. And stay inside the loop while the number is less than 1. So while num is less than or equal to 1. So here I should say greater than or equal to 1. So while the number is less than 1, not equal to, that's an invalid value now. So let's just show you here what we're talking about. But I can't run it because I'll be stuck inside the loop there. So I got to do something with the run, otherwise I'm in trouble. So inside this will make sure the number you entered is a valid number. It's bigger or equal to 1. So if it's equal or bigger or equal to 1, let's convert that number. First, let me save that number. Let me hold it. That's why I have num2 equals the num. I'm saving that number because at the end I'm going to say the decimal value, and it's going to be in location num2 because I'm saving it now, is equivalent to the binary value, and that will be put somewhere else. So I'm saving that number. That's really what I'm doing here. Saving the original number. That's what I'm doing here. You'll see I'm going to need it later. And now let's convert here. Convert what? Convert the number in num to binary. So whatever the number I have in this location, whatever that number, the one I just took from the keyboard, I want to convert that to binary. So if the number is less than 2, it's already in binary. So you're done with it. And let me define, where are we going to put it? Let's put it in location answer. And let's go int answer. So this is going to have the answer for my problem. If what? If the number is less than 2, it's already in binary format. It's 1, that means. So if that's the case, answer is equal to the num and you're done with it. Done converting. But if it's not less than 2, else is bigger than 2. So what do you want to do then? I need to take that number and divide it by 2. What I should probably here initially assign a value of 0 to the answer, because I'm going to be adding to it. I'm going to be adding numbers to it. So let's give it initial value of 0. Otherwise, I have to say answer equals 0 here, which is silly. And maybe I'll see my counter here set it equal to 0. That's the quotient right now. The counter, I mean. Okay. Now, let's divide, but here's a problem before I get to that. I'm going to leave a space here because I know there's a problem here. Let's do here while. So I'm doing more than one thing, so I should put curly brackets here. I need them. Curly bracket to close it here. I'm doing a stack of them. So the first thing I'm going to do, check and see. I left a space there intentionally. While the quotient divided by, while the quotient is bigger than 0, that means keep dividing. Remember, there's my quotient. Divided by 2 each time. So the first time you enter that, maybe you want to assign the quotient to have the number. Let the quotient equals the number. So if you type in the number 10, because you want to convert 10, so you put 10 here, 10 goes into Q. Is 10 bigger than 0? Yes, it is. The quotient is bigger than 10 is bigger than 0, and give it initial value. Then it's going to enter the loop. When it enters the loop, what do you want to do? The first thing you want to do is actually, let's see, what are we going to do here? Take the quotient, let Q equals whatever the number is divided by 2. So we take the 10 here and we divide it by 2. So quotient will have a value of 5. Now my remainder, I use R here, is going to be the remainder of dividing num, that's percent, that gives you the remainder, by 2. So when you divide 10 by 2, the remainder is 0. So the first time you run it, Q will be 5 and R will be 0. Remember, I set my answer to 0. So now after you finish with that, I'm going to say my answer now is going to equal to whatever the answer plus, I got to do some math here, plus what? The remainder, R, I use, I think, capital R, times, I got to use the math power because I want to shift it each time. Notice I want to write my answer like this, 1, 0, 1, 0. So you can't tell the machine just take this, add to it this, add to it this, add to it that. If you did that, your answer is 2. So what I'm trying to do each time, shifting it by multiplying it by 10 to the power. So this is going to be times math dot pow, the power function, of 10 to the power of c. Now c initially has a value of 0. Notice I set c equals to 0. What's 10 to the 0? 1. The remainder is 0 for the first one. 0 times 1 is 0, added to 0, so you have a 0 in the first location, right here. Let's see what's going to happen next. And it's give me a syntax error. I think I know what the answer, because the power function requires both of these numbers to be real value double. Let's see if that's what they're telling me there. Mismatch. Yep. Because that's an integer value. I can type int in front of that, the integer value of this number. I can write parentheses, int, parentheses, give me the integer value of this one. Just the because it's integer value. So it's going to be a whole, otherwise this is a decimal value, this is an integer, you're trying to add decimal to non-decimal, put them in non-decimal, which is a problem. This one says give me the integer value of that. That will convert that to integer. And now the error just left. And you want to increment c now. And let's see what will happen. Q was 10 the first time. Let's trace it again. 10 divided by 2, that's Q has a value of 5 now. Num has a value of 0. The answer is going to be 0 plus, this is a 0. So you end up with 0. That's that number. Now C becomes 1. Now we go back there. Q is 5. What's 5 divided by 2? That will give me a 2, not a 2.5. These are integer value. That's a 2 now. That's this number. R is going to be 5 divided by 2. The remainder of 5 divided by 2, which is 1. The answer was 0 plus, now R, which is 1 here, in this case, times 10 to the power of 1. What's 10 to the power of 1? That's 10. 1 times 10 is 10, plus 0, that's a 10. So now you have 10 here, and you can see the 10. Increment C. C becomes 2. Let's come back. Q now is 2. What's 2 divided by 2? Q becomes 1, right here. R is going to be what? The remainder of 2 by 2, which is 0. R is 0. Okay, this was a 10. Answer has a 10 in it. 10 plus 0 times anything is 0. That's still 10. Right there. I'm right there. And one more time, C becomes what? 3 now. Let's go back. This is Q. So this is the number. 1 divided by 2, you can't. That's a 0. It gives me that number. 1, the remainder mod 2, that's a 1. That gives me the 1 here. The answer is going to be, there's a 10 in answer. This has a 10 in it. Plus, this is 1 here, times 10 to the power of 3. 10 to the power of 3 is 1,000. So 1 times 1,000 is 1,000 plus 10, that's 1,010, and that's what that number is. So now let's print the number. Let's do them. Once you finish with this, when you exit this loop, you're done converting. Now you want to print that number. So let's make a message here. Oh, string message equals 2. Oh. So what's the message going to equal to? The decimal, double quotation, that's a string. The decimal, the equivalent, let's go like this. The equivalent value, or the binary equivalent, because we're doing the binary. Binary equivalent value to the number 10, or the number, any number. And now let's put here plus, and let's add the number num2, in order, because num1 is gone. Plus is space, and now I'm going to put the answer plus, and let's add the answer. Oh, I forgot a semicolon here. And now we're just going to print that message. JO option dot show message dialog. So not input, this is show message M. Where's my mouse? Null, comma, and let's put the message. Let's put, just show me that message I just did here. So let's make sure I'm closing everything. This piece closes this one. This else closes this one. The while, this one closes this one. What about that while? While the number is different than 0, notice that's the close of that one. So right here, I need to write, get another number. So let's ask for another number, in case you want to do it more than once. Maybe you want to do it for a different number. Copy this one. And I think I said I'm going to put it right here. Oh, I guess I didn't type the whole thing. Actually, I can take the whole thing up. Copy. Damn it. I can't. I guess I got to type it. I was trying to be lazy here, but it's taking me longer. Type 0 to quit. And let's read that one. Get another number in case you want to run it again, because this program is going to run for as long as you want to, till you type in 0. Not just one number. And if I did it correctly, it should run now. Let's save it and let's run it. Do you want to run this program? Type 0 to quit. Notice if I put 0, program is done, kicks me out. I can put a message for them, thank you, but I'm getting tired. Let's see, you want to run the program, type any number you want to, as long as not 0. Okay, enter a number, 10. Let's see if 10 gives me 1, 0, 1, 0. Is the message on the back? Nope. Let me see what happened here. String J option. I should see that message here. Let's run it again just to see. Maybe I just 5. Pick a number, number 10. So somehow that didn't go through. What happened? Let's see what happens here. Do I have parentheses open? Something. Answer equals. So I don't see what's wrong with it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little statement here. It says syso, little flag. Hi mom. And save it. And run it. You want to run the program. Type 0 to quit. No, I don't. 3. Any number. Type a number, 10. Oh, I see the problem. I have an infinite loop. Can you see it? Hi mom is keep flickering. So let me stop it. Click on that red button. So something is not changing there. Let's see what's not changing. So somewhere here. Oh, I know what it is. Because every time you're going to take the number and divide it by 2. Well, that number is always 10. What I should have done here, make the number equals the quotient the second time around. That's what it is. So when you divide them, so whatever number, so the first time, you see, you want to divide the 10 by 2, but the second time the quotient is 5. The second time your number becomes the 5. So that's the part I forgot to mention here. And you know the other thing too, in case I made C equals to 0 up there. But what happens if you go to run it 10 times? You want to do this every time you enter the loop here. You really want to make sure this value here, C should be 0 every time you enter that. So I should have had here C equals to 0. So if I run it more than once, instead of just putting it up there, I think that'll be the correct way of doing it. So let's try again. If you hit 0, that will quit. Run it again. Let's put a 10. Let's see if that's 1, 0, 1, 0. Oh, it went by quickly. So let me see if my parentheses here is the issue there. Let's look at this. There's my do. I have a parentheses that validate the value. That's good. Let num2 equals num. That's fine. That's just saving the number. Now we asked for a number. We saved it. Good. If the number is less than 2, answer equals num. That's good. Else, there's the curly bracket. Q equals the number. Oh, you know what I should do here too? Answer. That's not why it wasn't showing up. Because you're going to run that more than once. If you're only going to run it once, you can put it up there. But I changed my mind. You're going to run it more than once. Let the answer be 0 when you enter this. While Q is bigger than 0, Q equals this, R equals this, answer equals this, num equals this. Up, 2 semicolons here. That's fine here. I'm with it so far. Close this. string message equals the binary value. Show me the answer. Close this one. Show me this. Close, close, close. That looks good. I just don't see why it's not. Let's see. Do you want to run this program? Type 0 to quit. 4. Enter a number. 10. Oh, here we go. The binary equivalent value for the number 10 is 1010. Run the program again. Yep, enter a number. 55. Oh, for 55, I want to know what the binary equivalent for 55. 110111. Enter the number. Let's say I want 1,000. What's the binary for 1,000? Here is the binary for 1,000. 1111010000. So you can calculate for any number till you type. Once you type in 0, the program terminates. So because I'm repeating this program more than once, you really want to reset these, because you want to do it for the new number. And if you're only going to do it once, then you can set them up early. I just had earlier. If you're going to do that program once, that'll be fine. But if you want it to keep repeating there, every time you enter the loop, you want to reset these two guys to 0 and 0, because otherwise it's taking the old sum and adding to it. And you don't want to do that. Whew, a lot of parentheses there. A lot of nested if while